that next to the declaration of war, you can make an argument that impeachment may be the heaviest power that Congress holds. That constitutional responsibility lies with the House. We have a duty to pursue the facts where they lead. John Adams famously said, "Facts are stubborn things," and you heard a recitation of that here this morning. These facts are alarming. They're alarming to the American people. They are alarming to us. And so while we take no pleasure in the proceedings here, we have a responsibility to do it.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So Speaker Mike Johnson, the dude is really, really not disappointing. In my opinion, he's showing that he's ready for the moment. You know, he's given these really great weekly press conferences, and he doesn't back down from any of the questions. This week he was talking basically about how the Republicans are getting backed into a corner by the Biden White House on the topic of impeachment. Basically, according to the Speaker, Biden, they're stonewalling when it comes to receiving documents, getting interviews, and other materials that they have been requesting for their inquiry, saying they don't need to comply with the impeachment inquiry because it's not legitimate. And they're saying it's not legitimate because there's never been a vote, even though this is the exact same tactic, the exact same techniques that was used just a short time ago by Nancy Pelosi in one of her sham impeachments of President Trump. Now, obviously, you know, the White House, they're banking on the fact that if they force them to a vote, it's going to fail. And of course, they're right to believe that. You know, they believe that like we believe. You know, we believe that most Republicans, you can't count on them when you really need to count on them. They are weak. They've always been that way, probably always going to be that way. But Johnson thinks that's not going to be the case. So let's take a look at what Johnson first said about Biden evidence of impeachment when he first came to the speakership.
China, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Mexico, other countries, tens of millions. They've discovered all of these shell corporations. They've discovered 9 particular Biden family members have been paid. And then you have the issue of Joe on tape admitting that he used our money, taxpayer money, to leverage $1 billion in loan guarantees, which was Obama administration policy to fire a prosecutor investigating his son. Well, one of the benefits of that, his son continued to get paid for a job he admits he had no experience in at a time where he was dealing with a drug problem. What does that sound like to you?
That's a pretty good recitation of the facts. And as John Adams said, facts are stubborn things. They're hard to ignore. I believe the documents are proving all that. As my good brother Jamie Comer often says, the bank records don't lie. So we have the receipts on so much of this now. It's a real problem. That's the reason that we shifted into the impeachment inquiry stage on the president himself. Because if in fact all the evidence leads to where we believe it will, that's very likely impeachable offenses. You know, that's listed as a cause for impeachment in the Constitution. You know, bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors. Bribery is listed there, and it looks and smells a lot like that. And I think the evidence, we're going to follow the truth where it leads. We're going to engage in due process because, again, we're the rule of law party. I know people are getting anxious and they're getting restless and they just want somebody to be impeached, but that's not. We don't do that like the other team. We have to base it upon the evidence, and the evidence is coming together. We'll see where it leads.
Let me go back to the budget, if I may, for a second. This whole issue of regular order. We have 4 of the 12 appropriations bills that have already been dealt with. My understanding is that's about 70% of the budget. So you have 8 more to go. You've talked about a short-term CR.
Yeah, so you guys see that. And here's what's changed since then. Not much, except for according to Speaker Johnson, the evidence has only gotten stronger. I think his exact words were the evidence is starting to mount. So it sounds like he believes an impeachment inquiry vote that might have actually failed a couple of months ago probably has a pretty good chance now. Now, that said, this makes me very, very nervous. Nervous because I do trust that the majority of Republicans are weak. In fact, I trust them even less than I do Democrats, not because of what I think they believe or what I think, you know, their agenda items are, but because we never know what they're going to do. At least with Democrats, they're so partisan, they're so agenda driven, they're so habitually insane that you always basically know what they're going to do. Republicans, who the hell knows? Nobody knows. You know, the speaker was just out a couple of days ago intimating that he didn't think that Republicans would vote to remove George Santos. Well, now here it is Friday, and that guy's not in Congress anymore. So sounds like impeachment inquiry, it may end up going to a vote. And I really, really, really hope and pray that Republicans do not screw this up. Because honestly, regardless of whether you think there's evidence or not, the American people, above all else, the American people deserve to know. Guys, that's just my take. Let me know yours in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? And guys, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.